Do you think someone with only a high school diploma like you could find another job?
Ms. Anderson said that, looking down on me. I calmly stated the facts.
About that, actually, I'm about to become the head manager at your workplace.
What? What do you mean?
Ms. Anderson was shocked, but this was undeniably true. My aspiration to work in department stores stems from my experiences during my childhood. I was very close to my grandfather and was heavily influenced by him, as he was a department store manager himself. My name is Cody Green. I'm a 24-year-old working professional. By the way, I'm single and don't have a girlfriend. Currently, I work at a large department store. I started working there right after high school, so this is my 6th year in the workforce. When I tell people I work in a department store, some see it as an easy job, but it's not. Working in a department store actually requires a lot of skills. This could be said for most service industries, but dealing with difficult customers and unreasonable complaints is a daily occurrence. The more customers that visit, the more likely it is that problems will arise. To always provide excellent customer service, it's essential to continuously improve product knowledge and conversation skills. It's our duty to keep learning so that our customers can have a pleasant shopping experience. It's not just about selling products and being done with it. Above all, department store employees must always present themselves well, behave gracefully, and be the kind of people suitable for the store. Being a department store worker, which might seem glamorous at a glance, is actually quite challenging. There were times when I felt like giving up, but during those times, I would always think of my late grandfather. My grandfather passed away when I entered elementary school, but until then, he had always managed a department store inherited from his father in our local town. The department store my grandfather owned was not very large, perhaps because it was a family business. However, with the expertise he'd accumulated over the years, it was always bustling and beloved by the locals. With its glitzy displays and the constant stream of people, the department store always felt like a vibrant festival. Watching the delighted customers shopping would always make my young heart leap with joy. I loved the special atmosphere of the store filled with my grandfather's touches. Whenever I had the chance, I used to visit the department store. My grandfather, always in a sharp suit and efficiently managing his tasks, radiated a youthful energy despite his age. Even though he was the owner, he never acted arrogant. He always humbly went to the sales floor himself and took the lead in handling challenging tasks. Seeing his dedication, the other employees had a strong trust in him. The positive atmosphere in the department store was largely due to my grandfather's character. Things were usually peaceful, but one day an incident occurred. A customer came forward, mentioning there was a shabbily dressed mother and child in the food court. Immediately, my grandfather and I headed to the food court on the first floor. There, a mother and child dressed in ragged clothes sat at a table with a complimentary drink in front of them. The pair consisted of a mother, who looked to be in her 30s, and a young son about the same age as me at that time. Even from a distance, it was clear that they were both exhausted. The other customers around were also a little rustled with uneasy expressions. The mother must have sensed this too. She was looking down and blushing with embarrassment.
One of the ladies whispered to my grandfather, "Could you please ask them to leave?"
Upon hearing this, my grandfather slowly approached the two. Seeing him approach, the mother and son looked scared, probably thinking they'd be reprimanded for not ordering any food. But my grandfather, with a gentle voice meant to ease their tension, said to them, "I'm so sorry for the wait. You're here for the interview, right? The interview room is right this way. Please follow me."
Huh?
My grandfather said this, causing the mother to widen her eyes in surprise. Of course, it was the first time my grandfather met her, and there was no real interview scheduled. But he acted quickly to ensure the two of them wouldn't attract any more attention from curious onlookers.
Leading them with a professional air, he guided them to the reception room, saying, "Right this way."
Once in the reception room, he offered the mother and child drinks and a variety of snacks. Upon asking the mother her name, it was revealed that she was named Karen. And apparently her son, named Taylor, was around my age. Taylor seemed quite hungry, his eyes shining at the sight of the snacks. Karen apologized profusely to my grandfather, I'm so sorry for coming to the department store looking like this. We've startled other customers and caused a nuisance. Despite her disheveled appearance, Karen's demeanor and way of speaking were surprisingly refined. Both my grandfather and I were taken aback.
Taylor also began to eat the snacks neatly after saying, "Thank you."
Thank you. This parent and child seem to have proper manners and social skills.
It's no trouble at all, but if you don't mind sharing, is there something difficult going on?
Well, my husband was abusive, and I managed to escape with my child.
Daddy was really scary.
That sounds tough.
I said to Taylor, feeling sympathetic even at his young age.
At first, we stayed in hotels to avoid sleeping outside, but we ran out of money, and that's why we were in the food court.
I'm truly sorry.
There's no need to apologize so much. We've had folks like you come into this department store before. In fact, I have some pamphlets from social services. Would you like some information?
Saying this, my grandfather handed her a brochure.
Thank you. I never knew there were shelters for women suffering from domestic violence. I think we'll seek help from them first.
As Karen prepared to leave with Taylor, then my grandfather said, "Thank you so much for coming. And by the way, Karen, you passed the test."
What are you talking about?
My grandfather with a smile explained, "I'm talking about a job interview. If you're willing, I'd like to formally hire you as a full-time employee here."
Me? A full-time employee?
Yes. In speaking with you, I see that you have a good interpersonal skill set. This department store also provides you with a uniform and a daycare service for your children. We would very much like to work with you.
Tears filled Karen's eyes at my grandfather's words.
She kept saying, "Thank you," with a voice thick with emotion.
Even now, 20 years later, that moment remains vivid in my mind. I aspired to be just like my grandfather, a man full of integrity and justice, in that moment.
Good morning.
From that day on, Karen began working as a full-time employee at the department store. Though she looked worn out when we first met, once she applied some makeup and wore the store uniform, she looked entirely different. Karen turned out to be a stunningly beautiful woman. Her polished demeanor meant she quickly fit into her new role. Customers praised her for her pleasant customer service. With a stable salary, Karen's life began to stabilize. While she worked, Taylor spent his time in the daycare. I often played with him there.
Hey, Taylor. I'm sorry it's just hand-me-downs, but I'm giving you some clothes.
Saying that, I gave my clothes to Taylor. I knew Taylor's family was still struggling financially, so I wanted to help out. My mom had suggested it. In reality, not only were there hand-me-downs, but also brand new clothes. But I kept that a secret from Taylor and his family. Thanks a lot. My mom was saying we don't have many clothes, so this helps a lot. Taylor thanked me with a smile on his face. Just as his mother, Karen, was strikingly beautiful, Taylor too had a well-structured face and was quite handsome. I always enjoyed spending time with Taylor and wished every day could be like that. Unfortunately, that daily routine ended as soon as I started elementary school. 3 days after my elementary school entrance ceremony, my grandfather passed away. It was such a sudden departure that the whole department store was caught off guard. Initially, my dad took over the department store, but then a new problem arose. A nationwide chain shopping mall had opened nearby, and the customers started flocking there. The timing was bad, because our store was in the middle of a management transition, which probably contributed to the problem. In the end, our struggling department store was merged into the large mall. It's all because I wasn't good enough. I've really let everyone down. My father was deeply saddened by the whole situation, but sometimes it's just bad luck. My mom and the other employees didn't solely blame my father for everything. It's sad that the memories of the department store with my grandfather are gone, but sometimes you just have to accept fate. I tried to move on from the loss of Karen and Taylor by constantly reminding myself of that. Thanks to my father's connections, Karen got a full-time job at a department store in a neighboring state. Karen came to say her thanks when she was leaving. "I can't thank you enough for all the help and for introducing me to my new job." "No problem at all. You've contributed a lot to the department store. Wishing you the best in your new venture." I wanted to say goodbye to Taylor as well, but unfortunately he wasn't there. Taylor, being only 7 years old at that time, seemed unable to accept the situation. The loss of the department store, filled with memories of fun times at the daycare, seemed to have taken a toll on him. I wondered how Taylor is doing now. Even in high school, I often thought of him. Now in my junior year of high school, I've been appointed as the vice president of the student council, so I'm more motivated than ever to attend school.
My friend Mike said, "Hey Cody, you're working with Ms. Anderson in the student council, right? Can you introduce me to her?"
Hearing the surname Anderson, I got nervous.
There's no way I can introduce you to President Anderson. She might look cute, but she's really strong-willed.
In our student council, Miss Anderson, a female student, was the president. Apparently her father runs a law firm, so she's kind of an heiress. Our school allows casual clothing, so Miss Anderson always dresses stylishly. Because of her beauty, she seems to pull off any outfit.
Just admit it, Cody. You're just trying to get close to Ms. Anderson, aren't you? No way. Even if I tried, Ms. Anderson doesn't seem to like me at all.
Indeed, Miss Anderson has always been tough on me. One day when we were alone in the council room, I tried to strike up a conversation. I rarely talk to girls, so I'm not sure what to say. Oh, I've got it.
You have a great sense of fashion, don't you? You are always so stylish, and the other girls think you're fantastic.
Are you saying I tried too hard?
No, I didn't mean it like that.
With anger evident on her beautiful face, Miss Anderson shot me a sharp glare.
Whatever I choose to wear, it's none of your business.
With that, Miss Anderson swiftly turned away and went back. I hadn't expected that topic and replied a bit sheepishly. Well, sorry. I'm changing jobs soon, so I left it blank intentionally.
Do you think you with just a high school diploma can find another job?
Miss Anderson remarked with a hint of condescension. I calmly responded with the facts.
Actually, I'm about to become a manager at your department store.
What? What do you mean?
She asked in shock. That was the undeniable truth. I was about to leave my current job to become a manager at the same prestigious store where Ms. Anderson works. Thanks to decent performance at my current job and also leveraging connections from my late grandfather, the store owner offered me a position.
So you mean you'll be my boss? She asked incredulously.
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
You're kidding.
I was on guard, thinking that she might say something, but with a stunned look, she was quite subdued for the rest of the reunion. I was puzzled by her attitude, but later I was officially appointed as a manager at the well-established department store and started working. Being a manager was tough at times, but it was more fulfilling, and I was blessed with competent and reliable subordinates. I enjoyed working in a privileged environment, but Miss Anderson always seemed distant and intimidating towards me.
Cody, I don't understand this part.
In contrast to Miss Anderson, a new female employee named Lily was actively speaking to me. She also had a different charm from Miss Anderson, and she was a very cute and glamorous woman. In addition, she had a friendly personality and many male employees admired Lily. I thought she was a friendly and wonderful woman, but for some reason I didn't feel any romantic feelings for her. Still, I was glad to have seen her. Still, I was glad to have such active communication. I believed that proper collaboration would make the atmosphere in the company even better. But for some reason, whenever I was talking to Lily, Ms. Anderson jumped in right away.
Hey, Lily. If you don't understand something, ask me or others.
Yikes, Miss Anderson.
What's with the yikes? Manager has more important work to do.
Come to think of it, this kind of thing happened in high school too.
When I talked to another girl while working for the student council, Miss Anderson would say, work.
I wonder if I look like I'm slacking off in her eyes. I gently quieted her.
Ms. Anderson, well, I think I need to understand what parts the new employees find difficult to understand as a manager. So if I'm really busy, I'll ask another employee, so you don't have to worry about me that much.
I intended to convey it in a gentle tone, but she didn't seem to like it.
You're being all sweet to female employees? That's sexual harassment.
She left after saying that.
What's with her attitude?
I feel the same way as Lily did. I wondered why Miss Anderson, who is usually such a competent woman, becomes emotional about me. I wondered if, just like in high school, I will continue to spend all my time like this without ever being able to understand her. I was worried about Miss Anderson, but one day there was a drinking party at my company. The first party was held in a serious atmosphere, but as it went to the second and third parties, members were divided by department, and before I knew it, I was having a third party with members of my department.
Cody, please drink more.
Oh, I'm good.
Lily and almost everyone else was drunk, and they drank a lot and were completely drunk. But only Miss Anderson didn't talk to anyone and was quietly drinking by herself. I was worried about her as a manager, and I couldn't enjoy drinking as I wanted to. I wonder why I'm so concerned about her.
Let's stay together tonight.
Lily, you're a little too drunk.
With the help of alcohol, Lily approached me more aggressively than usual. I was wondering how to deal with it when suddenly Miss Anderson started crying.
Ms. Anderson, are you okay?
What is it?
The other members, including Lily, didn't seem to notice that Miss Anderson was crying because they were drunk.
I wanted to discreetly get her out of there without anyone noticing. I told her, Ms. Anderson, you don't seem to be feeling well. I'll drive you to the station, and I left the party right then.
Everyone was already drunk, so when the two of us disappeared, nobody seemed to notice or care. I first took Miss Anderson to a nearby park. I figured if we sat on a bench there, she might calm down for a moment. After handing her a bottle of water I bought, she took a sip and appeared a bit calmer.
Ms. Anderson, what's wrong? Did something happen?
As I asked this, she looked at me, her eyes filled with tears.
I thought Lily would take you, Cody, from me, and it made me so sad.
What?
The fact that Miss Anderson referred to me as Cody was so shocking, my mind went blank for a moment. And her revelation only added to my confusion.
Ms. Anderson, are you drunk?
Yeah, if I wasn't drunk, I wouldn't be able to express my feelings this way. Oh, the good old days. Back when all we did was innocently play together.
I had no idea what she was talking about.
You mean back in high school?
No, when we were much younger, when you and I were in preschool.
It then hit me. I realized Miss Anderson's first name was Taylor. I had always addressed her by her last name, but she was actually Taylor. But I remembered playing with a boy.
Wait, but your surname was different. And besides, wasn't Taylor a boy's name back then?
Back then we were sopo. I had a short haircut, and mostly wore hand-me-downs, so everyone thought I was a boy. I wanted to tell everyone I was a girl, especially after Cody gave me his old boy clothes, but it became even harder. Also, my mom remarried, so my surname changed.
I couldn't believe it. The popular girl in school, Miss Anderson, was actually Taylor. I was dumbfounded for a moment. Now that I think of it, Miss Anderson does resemble Taylor's mom. To think that Taylor had grown up to be such a beautiful and mature woman was all too shocking. Tears rolling down her face, she continued,
Remember, I never said goodbye to you in the end when we were little. I understand now, as an adult, how heartbroken I was when our favorite department store closed down. I somewhat resented you and your parents.
Miss?
I know it couldn't be helped, but in high school, I hated how I treated you so coldly. I wanted to come forward and say it's me, Taylor, but I didn't want you to see my weak side from back then. So I dressed up and focused on my appearance. Now that we work together again, I still can't be honest with my feelings. It's pathetic, and that's why I broke down. I'm truly sorry.
Taylor.
For the first time in ages, I called her by that name. She looked surprised for a moment.
I miss the department store owned by my grandpa, too. But our friendship is forever, and the memories will always be with us. Nothing has changed between us. I miss the department store run by my grandpa, too. But our friendship is forever, and the memories will always be with us. Nothing has changed between us.
Cody.
Taylor called out my name and clung to me. As I embraced her, I realized just how much she struggled and suffered from her insecurities. That's why I wanted to cherish her scars and all. I guess I was drawn to her because she was Taylor. From that day, we started dating and also built a great working relationship.
I want to become a wonderful department store manager, just like your grandpa.
Seeing Taylor say that with a smile, she truly shined. It must have been my grandpa's kindness that brought us back together.